Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to our Friday hackathon classes. So today's agenda, guys, to what we are going to do is the first 1 hour, we will focus on writing user stories. Okay, so user story writing will be one of our focus. And the next 1 hour, we'll be focusing on job search. Okay, how to do a effective job search for a business analyst role. Many of you are getting confused between what kind of jobs you should apply for and what you're not. So we're going to focus on the job search part of it. We will cover the resume building in the coming session. So nothing about the resume building we'll focus today, because that itself will become a very elaborate session. So we will get into resume building in the coming sessions, in the next Friday session. So this week we have a couple of new members joining us. Well, I would like to welcome each one of you. Please switch on your cameras, guys. Friday classes are supposed to be with cameras on. Please switch on your cameras. Okay, thank you so much for that. So this week we have Kushal joining us. We have Brajendra. Hi, Brajendra. We have Ridhi.
Hello, ma'am.
We have Vinita, Bala, Nabil. Hi, Nabil. And Deepti, Prasanna, Archana, Kajal, Varsi, and Rupak. Okay. So the new members, we'll just go around 5 minutes and please introduce yourself, your name, your current role, and your location, quickly. Let's start with Brajendra first.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Brijen Singh. I stay in Bangalore, but my hometown is based in Fatehpur, which is nearby Kanpur in UP. I worked in HR operations role, being associate, having covered numerous activities like data management, onboarding, payroll, well, the main stuff that I have to do for like a US and India region. Presently, I'm looking for a job because last year I had medical emergency, and that is I enrolled for this course just to get knowledge about BS skills, so that I can make a smooth transition into this role late in future.
Welcome, Rajendra. Welcome.
Thank you.
Then let's go to Kajal. We can't hear you. You're on mute, Kajal.
Hello. Am I
Yeah.
audible?
Yes.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. So currently I am on a career break. I have past experience in sales and marketing as a deputy manager in Heidelberg Cement India Limited. So I have worked 3 years there. And before MBA, I was working for a financial services provider. So I was worked there as a business development executive for 1.5 years. And right now I'm currently looking for transitioning my career in business analysis and looking for a job. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. Welcome, Kajal. Then let's move on to Nabil. Yeah.
Yeah, hi, good evening, everyone. Well, my name is Nabil. I've been working as a recruiter since last 5 years with different companies. So the recent one was Stanley David and Associates. I was working as a senior leadership there. Just around 3 months back, I left my job due to some family commitments. Now I was free, just join the course and explore new.
Your voice is breaking. We couldn't
Well, and
hear
my
the
name,
last
I'm
half
from
of what you
Maharashtra.
said.
Am I audible now?
Yes, the last half you missed.
Okay, so yeah, recently, I actually am a native of Aurangabad, Maharashtra.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, last 3 months back, I just left my job due to some family commitments. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome, Nabil. Welcome to our community.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, over to Prasanna.
Good evening, all. So my name is Prasanna Kumar. I'm located at Hyderabad. Currently working as a clinical analyst for Optum Global Solutions. So I just regularly I connect with the business analyst. So
Okay.
just I want to switch to the business analyst as I'm coordinating and working with business analyst. That's it from my end.
Thank you. Welcome, Prasanna. Over to Deepti.
Good evening, Sajana. Hello, everybody.
Good evening.
I am based from Hyderabad. I have a long career gap. I work with HSBC and Amazon. I'm a MBA finance graduate, and I work with HSBC and Amazon earlier. So now I want to restart my career, and based on my previous experience and education background, I thought business analyst would be an apt role.
Welcome, welcome, Deepti.
Thank you.
Then we have Asmat. Asmat is there?
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Yeah, Azmat Warse this side. I've done my post-graduation in MBA in Marketing and International Business Management and working from last 10 years in banking sector. So I think I can use my domain knowledge to switch to a BA role. So that's why I'm looking forward positively for this classes.
Okay, great. Great to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Over to Archana.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Good evening. Yeah, I'm Archana, and presently I'm working as a RPA developer at one of the MNC company in Pune, and I'm looking for the change of role. Yeah, as a business analyst.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome, welcome to our community, Archana.
Thank you, ma'am.
Then we have Bala. Is Bala there? Has Bala joined us? No, I don't think Bala has joined. He was asking for the link in the chat window. And Kushal, I don't see Kushal also, so he's not joined. Anyone I missed, guys? Anyone who's new to the community I missed? Their name?
Hi, Sajna. Aisha here.
Aisha,
I'm new.
hi.
Hello. So, can I go ahead and introduce myself?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So I have a working experience of 5 years with Tata Consultancy Services. I worked for 4 years as a developer, and I've recently switched to data lineage analyst role. So I'm actually looking forward to transition to the business analytics role, and for the business analysis part, I've joined this course. So yeah, looking forward to much learning.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. So like I after the initial round of introduction of the new members, a little bit of induction. Each one of you is new here. You must have received 3 emails from us. One email contains your login credentials and ensure that you have access to the courses that are listed over there. That's a part of your program. So the courses that you are subscribed to will be accessible to you. So that's number one. The second email contains the Friday class link. Okay. So that class link does not change. Okay. So there's no need to hunt for a link every Friday. It remains the same. So that's the other part of it. And the third one contains the group links. Okay. The groups, the mastermind group. Many of you have already joined our mastermind group here in Telegram. Okay. So definitely join those groups, and also links to our YouTube channel and everything for additional study resources are given. So that will be very helpful for you. Okay. So that's a quick round of introduction, and let's get to the our study part of it. Like I said, the first 1 hour we'll focus on user story writing. Then we will move to a job discussion, as to how to look for a business analyst job. Before I start with the user story, let me quickly circulate a link where you can post your job-related queries, okay? So you can start posting it now so that I can, towards the end of today's session, I will read out these queries and give you answers to that. Just give me a moment. And yeah, here, the link that you will get, please write very short and crisp questions. No stories here. Don't write big stories, so that we can, I'll try to cover maximum questions which you have posted today, 10 to 15. But if it's too much, then we will take it to the next session. So all your queries will get answered, but in a couple of queries in the next coming sessions. And just post questions related to job search. Do not add questions related to resume, because resume building will be in the next Friday class. So there we will discuss extensively about resume. If we talk about various things, we'll lose focus. Okay. So just if you have any specific questions around job search, then you can post in this Excel sheet link in the chat window. You can start posting that. We will take it later. Now, let me take you through the user story building activity. Okay. Give me a moment. I will send you a link in the chat window, which will give you the activity booklet and prepare you for this session. Let me just send you an attachment. Just hold on. Here it comes. So you can download this handbook. It will come very useful. It will be very useful for you to complete this particular activity. Now, the way these hackathons are run, many of you who are old members, they already know. But for the new members, let me tell you, I will explain the concept in the class about user stories and how it is written and everything. Then we will work on a case study. Okay. These case studies become very helpful when you are preparing for interview also. So then I will give you a business scenario, a business case study, and you will be sent to breakout rooms to complete that activity and come back to the main room. So in the breakout rooms, to assist you, we will have group leaders. The group leaders are senior members of our community. They are diamond certification holders, and they have a good level of proficiency in understanding these concepts. And that's the reason they are there to assist you in the breakout rooms. So you can ask all your queries related to the concept to them or to me, anyone, but complete those activities and come to the breakout room. So when you do, we believe in learning by doing it. So when we do, the more and more we practice these skills, then we become a much more, a business analyst who can write detailed and very specific requirements. So that's the reason these practice sessions are arranged in such a way where you can, it's not focused on theory, it's focused on more on practical work. Got it? Everyone clear on the structure of these hackathons? Okay, great. Everyone has downloaded it from the chat window. If you're downloaded, just type done in the chat box so that I know that you have the activity sheet. Okay. What is user stories? So today we are going to talk about requirements documentation. And user stories is a format of requirement documentation. Okay, the way a BA collects requirements. So different formats of documentation exist in the IT world. Business analysts write BRD, FRD, and then we have epics and user story. So one such format we are discussing in today's session, which is user story format. And most of the projects, I'll say 90% of the IT projects nowadays are in the agile methodology. So it is very essential for BAs to know how to document requirements in the form of user stories. So user stories are nothing but requirements written in a structured way. Okay, understand that. Take notes, guys, as I'm explaining the concept. Take notes so that these notes are beneficial for you when I run a quiz. Towards the end of the session, every hackathon, we run a quiz and I test your knowledge. So it comes very handy for you also. You know where you stand, and also it helps you prepare for interview sessions. Okay. So let me share my screen and bring up that user story activity sheet. So a user story, as it is mentioned here, is a tool used in agile software development to capture a description of a software feature from the end user perspective, which means end user in the sense, the person who's using that particular feature. For example, if you go to the Amazon website and you search for a product, the search feature that you see on the Amazon website is a feature which you as a user is accessing, isn't it? So each and every component of the Amazon website, like the search feature, the login feature, the registration feature, the order tracking feature, the shopping cart feature, all of that are nothing but requirements, okay? So when we are capturing requirements as a BA, it is essential for us to write those requirements in a particular format. We just can't write it, okay, this is a search engine and user will type XYZ in the search engine and the system will throw a message. No, it has to be written in a proper structured way if your project is agile. Okay. And the format is given here. This will come very handy for you when you actually start writing user stories in your projects. Okay. User stories capture only the essential elements of a requirement. Who is this feature for? What it expects from the system? And why is it important? Okay. So a simple format of user story, it is used by 70% of practitioners. So if you see, the user stories are written in the form of as a role, that means as a user, I want to do something so that I can achieve something. Okay. Every user story, guys, remember, has a goal attached to it. And that's the why. That's the last part of the user story, why. I'll give you a couple of examples which will make this concept a little more clearer. Here there are user story examples for a shopping cart. So let's say you are working with Accenture, you are a BA with Accenture, and you are creating an e-commerce website, just like Amazon website. Accenture has a retail client and the retail client wants to build a new website for them. Okay, so now we all know that shopping cart is a very, very important component of a e-commerce website. Without shopping cart, that doesn't make sense having a e-commerce website. Now, if you were to write user stories, which will tell your technical team what has to be included in that shopping cart, then it will look like this. As a customer, so you see in the format, the role has been replaced with the role that particular user is performing on the website. So in the website, when we all go to the website, we are customers, right? So as a customer, I want to add items to my shopping cart so that I can select items to buy online. So I want to do something. Okay, the brackets indicate the action that the user is going to perform. And so that indicates the goal that can be achieved by that action. So remember, every action we perform on an application will have a goal attached to it, why we are doing it. So look at the next user story. As a customer, I want to delete items from my shopping cart so that I can remove items I do not wish to buy. Okay, so this is the delete functionality, discovering the delete feature of the shopping cart. As a customer, I want to update quantity of a particular item added to my shopping cart so that I can correct item quantity which was entered incorrectly. As a customer, I want to update the size of an apparel added to my shopping cart so that I can correct any size that was entered incorrectly. Any data errors for the selected item, you can mention that. Okay, so if you look at these user stories, guys, the user stories have 3 components. Always remember that. The other part, the remaining part of the user story never changes. As a, I want, that doesn't change. That has to remain same. The 3 components change based on the feature that you are describing in the user story. Okay. Any questions on this, guys? Any questions? Yes, Bala, that's how it is. The method looks easy to remember. That's the reason we created this handbook so that people can remember that. As a user, I want to do something. So I want to always will be an action. What will follow that I want will be an action so that I can achieve something. So that's a goal. So you can fill it in order to remember, you can fill it as a role. I want action so that goal. So that will change based on the feature that you're describing. Is this clear? Any questions before I move ahead? Okay. Then let me go ahead. Also, when it comes to user stories, you will often hear one more terminology, which is called as epics. Okay. Epics and user stories are always, you'll keep on hearing these terminologies. Now, what is an epic? Epic is a large user story. Okay. That means an epic can consist of multiple user stories. And I'll show you one of the Jira screen that's created by one of our Diamond members, Padma. So you'll get an idea about. So one epic can be broken down into multiple user stories. So in the project, what we do as business analysts, guys, in agile projects, the product owner creates epics, and we as BAs, we have to write user stories. And that's the reason understanding these user stories is very, very important. So for the Diamond class of March, we have already finished the user story writing, and they have created the backlog in Jira tool. For the April batch, we'll be just starting the backlog creation. In tomorrow's class, we'll start the backlog creation. Okay. Just give me a moment. I will. Okay. Now, what else is included in a user story is the second part of it. User stories contain something called as acceptance criteria. Now, why is the acceptance criteria so important? Acceptance criteria is important because acceptance criteria helps the development team as well as the testing team verify whether all the conditions are satisfied. For example, if you look at the Amazon website, if you go and type a product that does not exist, if you just enter some junk characters, the search engine will search for it in the database. It doesn't know that this is not a valid product name. It will search for it in the database. It will not find anything. And it will give you a message that, sorry, we couldn't find this particular product. Right. So now that is a rule that is set in the search engine. So all of those scenarios are added as acceptance criteria in a user story. Okay. So user stories are used by the development and testing team to verify that particular feature, what all conditions should be satisfied. That's included in a acceptance criteria. So one of the components of user story is acceptance criteria. Now, when we write user stories, it is so said that when you write user stories, After you write it, there is a way in which you can do a quality check of the user story. What is a quality check? Quality check is done using the invest acronym. Okay, let me write it here in the chat window. This is an abbreviation, guys. Invest. So they say that once you write user stories, in order to be, if you are a beginner VA, you would like to verify whether you have written proper user stories. So in order to check the quality of your user stories, follow this method, which invest each and every alphabet in invest stands for the following, okay? I stands for independent. That means each and every user story should be independent of each other. It should not be dependable. It should be negotiable, okay? User stories, when a user story is estimated for it, when the technical team estimates for it, it should be, they sometimes enter into negotiation calls with the PO or the business users. It should be negotiable. Then we have verifiable. V stands for verifiable. And that means the testing team should be able to verify it, test it. Then E stands for estimate. You should be able to estimate for it. Is everyone noting that down?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. So can anyone repeat what did I say so far?
Ma'am, so far you have covered till the first four alphabets of the abbreviation invest. The first one, I, stands for independent. Each of the user story should be independent of each other.
Independent.
Then, yeah, the N stands for negotiable. They should be negotiable, all the user stories that we are writing down. And those should be, V stands for verifiable. The user story should be verifiable by the testing team. And E stands for estimatable. So we should be able to estimate it.
Correct. And S stands for small. Your user story should always be a small chunk of work. Okay, if you're writing a large user story, it becomes an epic then. So that means your user story should not have multiple features included in it. Like I said, if you are writing, I showed you just explanation about a shopping cart. Now, shopping cart, if you just finish the shopping cart feature in just one user story, then you're writing an epic. It's not a fully qualified user story. You can't write one user story and say that, okay, tell the development team that the client needs a shopping cart. No, you have to write, just like I showed you the examples, like that you have to write multiple user stories. And there are many more you can write for a shopping cart. I just gave you a sample list of. So that's the reason user stories should be a small chunk of work which your development team can easily pick up and start developing it. And then, of course, testable. That means your testing team should be able to write testing scenarios. What happens when the user enters an incorrect product? What happens when the user enters a product name? The autofill facility is there, right? So if the user enters a product name and the system detects that product name in the database, it might do an autofill and help the user. It might give options to the user to do an autofill. So all of those are testing scenarios. So the testers can create fully blown test scenarios based on the user story. So if your user story satisfies all these conditions, invest, then it is a good quality user story. Yes, Rajendra, you have a question?
Yes, ma'am. I got a question about this epic. I want to know that epic, it's a kind of framework in which we have to make a lot of information about the user stories. So does it mean that the user stories that we are depicting under this epic will be related to one subject? I mean, the one purpose, or it can be related to multiple, requirements as per the discussion we get with the client.
So epics, first of all, epics are no framework or anything. Like I said, our product owners create a large user story, which is called epic. For example, if we go to LinkedIn, example, let me give you a source that you already know. Okay, we go to LinkedIn, and LinkedIn has a facility by which you can manage your account, right? Manage account facilities there. We all have created profiles over there. Now, if the product owner wants to develop that kind of a feature, right? Let's say we are creating a networking website like LinkedIn for the client, okay? And the product owner wants to develop a similar kind of manage account feature on that particular website. So she'll like write a fully blown epic, which will not contain details of what should be. Now, if I, as a customer, Rajendra, if I come and tell that, okay, my website should have manage account features, you will ask me, what exactly do you mean by what are you expecting in manage account? Because manage account is again a fully blown feature, right? It can include, if you look at LinkedIn, it gives you so many areas that you can update in your profile. You can update your experience part of it, job experience part of it, educational qualification, language preferences, your privacy settings, everything comes under manage account. A whole bunch of things come under manage account. People can control what other people can see, what they cannot see. When you are posting content, you can also set filters in LinkedIn saying that, okay, only my contacts should be able to see this, or everyone should be able to see this. All of that comes under account management, right? So if as a product owner, I might be writing as a user or as a customer, I want to manage my account so that I can make modifications as required. Okay. Now that's not explanatory enough. What exactly he expects in manage account? One customer might be just expecting manage account to help edit the profile information. But another customer might be expecting manage account should have very good -do features. It should allow them to change language preferences. It should allow them to control what the other person sees and how their posts are viewed, and educational qualifications, work profile, their photo update, you see all those sections in LinkedIn, right? Different. So that's the typical example. Manage account, which the product owner wrote, is an epic. Under that epic, we will write small user stories, which will give development team clarity about the different components included inside that big epic, different things that are included in the manage account feature.
So, ma'am, in this case, like the product owner is like a client who is giving us the requirement?
Yes.
Okay.
So product owner can be internal or external. Always remember that. Okay. So in the example that we gave, LinkedIn, suppose you are a BA from Accenture, and LinkedIn has given you this project and they are updating their website, then LinkedIn will be, the product owner will be from LinkedIn. So that's an external PO. Okay. But let's say Accenture has rolled out a project, an internal project, by which they are developing an application that can help their employees do XYZ things. So it's an application that they will use for internal purpose. And in that case, the PO will be internal. There is no customer here, right? The PO will be internal. One of the business unit heads from Accenture will be giving you the requirements. Got it? Yes, Aisha, you have a question.
Ma'am, in this case, what's the difference between an epic and a feature if epic is the culmination of a lot of stories? Because in my development experience, I have learned that the features were broken down into multiple stories. So when we are collecting all these user stories as epic.
I got your point. So Aisha, different development teams do it in a different way. You know what? Some development teams, they have features added in the Jira backlog, and they break those features into user stories. That's what you're doing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And you'll see other development teams. It's the same thing. If you see, the epic is also a feature only.
Okay.
Okay. So some development teams say that, okay, we will call this epic. We'll call this an epic, and that epic is broken down into user stories. The funda remains the same. Okay. Either you break features into user stories or you break epics into the user stories, because epics are also, by the way, like I gave you the example, manage account. It is a
Yeah.
larger feature.
Yes.
It's feature only. So it's nothing else.
But in Jira tool, we have different options for both, right? For feature and for epic creation.
Yes.
Or is it same?
No. In Jira tool, we have options to create epics. We epics user stories. We can create bugs, defects that the testing team uses.
Yeah. So both are different there, right?
Yeah. And it is completely configurable.
Oh.
Okay, it's completely configurable. So if your team is following specific terminologies like your team you mentioned, then you in the backend, the Jira administrator can add one more option over there. Your technical lead can add that. So it's completely customizable.
Thank you.
Ma'am, what about the Confluence? Like if the company is using Confluence?
No, we don't bring Confluence into the picture because Confluence is a document management system. Okay, epics and user stories are uploaded in a Jira tool because that's where proper backlog management happens. Jira is created for that reason.
Okay.
Confluence is a plain document management system where you can upload any kind of document. For a storage system, it is.
Okay.
Madam, I have a question.
Yeah.
Ma'am, what is actually independent user stories? Can you give an example of independent and non-independent user story?
Well, if your user stories are dependent on each other, then you have to break it down further. That's what it says. You know, for example, login and registration. If you look at login and registration, they are interconnected with each other. There is certain amount of dependency between each other. Because
Yes.
in order for logging to work properly, your registration page should be up first, up and running, right? So they have
Yes.
certain amount of dependency between them. So what it says that when you're writing your user stories, ensure that the dependency factor between user stories is not there. Write it independently so that, for example, I don't know if you are working on the registration feature and somebody else is working on the login feature, they should be able to independently distribute that work. Okay, so that's what it means. It's actually for the technical team to split their work in such a way that, nobody is, otherwise you'll see in most of the cases what happens is in the development team reach that bottleneck where they say, for example, if Rajendra is working on a module and Arun, if you are working on a module, you might walk up to the Scrum Master and say that I can't start my work unless and until Rajendra finishes his work. So I'm stuck. I don't have any work to do today because only after Rajendra finishes, I can start my work. That kind of dependency should not be there. That's what they're saying.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Ma'am, similar way, regarding that negotiable and estimate, I mean, negotiable in the sense, as I have seen in Jira, there may be a charge-wise options, maybe FOC, chargeable, not chargeable, these can be selected. At the same time, efforts of development also will come into the picture, right? SLA, OLA can be estimated there. So that kind of a negotiation or anything apart from that?
No, see, with respect to the estimate, Balaji, we don't have to worry about it because it's all to deal with the technical team, because estimation is done by them. But when it comes to user stories, why this INVEST acronym is so popular is that it says that your technical team should be able to estimate for each and every user story that you write. For example, when we, my diamond class members, when they do the sprint planning session, they, I tell them specific scenarios where in our project, when we were explaining the requirements, the user stories to our technical team, the technical team said that this is too large for us to work on. We can't estimate for it. So when they start for an planning session, it's a larger concept. We use different estimation methods like planning poker method and all. So if your development team, if it makes it difficult for your development team to estimate for it, then it's a large, then you have ended up writing an epic. Okay, so break it down further, it says. So there's a technique called as user story splitting. So if you break your user story to small chunks of work, then you can your team will be able to estimate it in a better way, and also negotiate with the, so in some cases, the product owners would like to negotiate, get this done fast, because I want to push some more user stories to this particular sprint. Then in that case, see, most of these estimations always have a buffer element included in it. Okay, they include the buffer. So it should be in such a way that, they are able to estimate properly. And if a negotiation is required, they are also comfortably able to negotiate. So don't worry about this acronym too much. When you learn to write good quality user stories, all these elements that we have to take care for a user story will automatically fall in place.
Okay.
So product owner is the person who gives us clarifications on the requirements, and product owner gives us feedback during the sprint planning meetings. So most of those sprint planning meetings, we have the product owner and the BA. And what I generally used to do in these, just before the meeting, I used to have a discussion with the PO to understand these requirements, because in that meeting, then I'm in a better position to explain the things to my team. So either the PO will explain these requirements or the BA. It works on a case-to-case basis as per the project. Okay, so now let's quickly.
Can the PO change the requirements that's there in Epic, like any other?
I didn't get that question.
Can the PO change the elements that's there in Epic? Can they remove and again put in anything new that comes up in between the project?
Yes, Jyoti. The backlog is completely owned by PO.
Yes.
So PO, the product owner is the owner. That person is the owner of the backlog, so he can do anything with that with the backlog. So in fact, we as BAs, we are just asked to split the user stories and then take approval from the product owner. But adding new items to the backlog or deleting existing items, that will be completely a product owner's decision.
Okay.
So they will all the new features they want in the system, they will keep on updating the backlog with that.
Okay, thank you.
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Doubt.
Hello?
Yes.
Ma'am, what's the difference between verifiable and testable?
Now, this verifiable element we also call in our business analysis terminology, we also call it valuable. See, verifiable and testable, very thin line of differentiation between it. So take the V, consider the V as valuable, because we as business analysts, we look at the value that it delivers to the customer, right? So every user story that we write should deliver significant value to the business. What is that goal that the business can satisfy using your user story? Okay, so take the V as valuable, and T then becomes very obvious, testable. Testable means your testing team should be able to write test scenarios for it.
Ma'am, question.
Yes.
So about follow up with the previous question, someone asked that if a product owner can change an existing epic. So my follow up question is, if we can, if the product owner can modify the existing one which is not completed, adding or deleting is a different thing. But if like it's an ongoing epic, and can they modify the requirements or the whole epic scenario in between?
Ideally, as per the Scrum rule, nobody else can touch those epics that are created by the product owner, but product owner can make any changes. Let's say as a PO, let's say Aisha, you are the product owner. Today you came and you wrote down 3-4 new epics, based on your discussion with your senior management, you wrote down 3-4 epics. Now tomorrow, you had some second round of discussion with the same senior management, and out of that 4, you decide, the management decided that, okay, 2 is good to go. The other two is not required.
Hmm.
You can come back to the backlog and delete the two, or yeah.
So no, but if the user stories are already created from those epics and those are being worked upon by the technical team, then can those be modified by the product owner?
No.
Then that's
No.
not the case, right?
No, that
Once it
ideally doesn't happen. That ideally doesn't happen, because when the sprint starts execution, these backlog items are moved to the sprint backlog. Where whatever the team is working on, it moves to the sprint backlog. The thing that I was talking about is the items that are not being worked upon, that can be modified.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so let me, the questions all done, I believe, right? So what we are going to do in the breakout rooms, we are going to write user stories. So although I've written here, write a user story, you can write multiple user stories, okay? So don't tie yourself down to one user story. Now this is a screen. It's a loan EMI calculator screen. I want you to think about what is the action the user is going to perform on this screen, and what is the goal this particular screen satisfies. So looking at this, you all know what this feature is. When you want to apply for a loan, you would like to check what is the EMI, what is that amount that you have to pay on a regular basis, right? So looking at this particular screen, write a bunch of user stories, how much ever you can write. We will allocate 15 minutes for this activity. And after 15 minutes, we'll come to the main room and we'll discuss, we'll check the quality of user stories the people have written. So there is also one blank sheet given here. You can use that, or you can write your own, So always remember, in the examples that are given, there are brackets over there. So when you write your user story, you don't need not put those brackets. Remember, the brackets are just for you to understand that these are the elements that has to be replaced. You write user story in a continuous format without those brackets. Got it? Everyone understood the activity? So group leaders, we will have Persis and Namrata is there. Yes. And Pooja is also there. Okay. And we'll take Rishabh also. Okay. Group leaders, wave your hands. Persis, Rishabh, Namrata, and Pooja. Pooja is always, cameras is off. So let me just send you to breakout rooms. Let me just configure that. Give me a minute. Meanwhile, you guys can discuss here. Our group leaders are there. Persis, Namrata, please assist with the questions if anybody has. And I'll just create breakout rooms. It will take me at least 2-3 minutes to create these breakout rooms. You can ask your questions if you have any.
I just have a clarification. So our role is the customer, right? So while writing the user stories.
It can be user as well, as a user. Yeah. So customer, when you're purchasing something, you can mention it as customer.
Got it. Thank you.
So we are also writing acceptance criteria for this, Sanjana, for the user stories. We'll also be writing.
No.
Okay. Just the user story. Okay.
Yeah, just the user story. First, get a hang over it, and then we will proceed to the next session. Group leaders, do you need screen share permission? Do you need that?
No, Sajna, I think, yeah, the format is already there.
Yeah, everyone has the PDF, right?
Yeah.
So I think we have done with the in room 1 we have group leader. Who's the group leader here in room 1? Okay, I'll take the room 1. We are not able to get Namrata is there. Namrata, room 1 is assigned to you, and versus room 2 is assigned to you. Room 3 is for Pooja, and room 4 is for Rishabh. Okay, 15 minutes for this activity. Let's all come back fast. Click on the joining link, guys.